were talking before the break about images on the internet and how it's parents' worst nightmare. What can parents do if they do find that there are images of their children, especially their daughters, out on the internet?
What you can do is you would have to contact each individual website, be it Tumblr or Facebook or Instagram, and request that they be taken down. And all those websites will generally comply with that if you tell them that it's a stolen photo and you ask for it to be taken down.
You know, pictures are very important on the internet and on social media, and people use them a lot. I'm guilty of it myself. You know, when I'm on vacation, this year we did a cruise, and I was posting pictures from the cruise. Why is that a bad idea?
Oh, it's a terrible idea to do it while you're on vacation, because if you're posting pictures that you're on a cruise, you're telling everyone that you're not home, and a friend of a friend could see that, someone in your neighborhood, whether it be a professional thief or a bored teenager, and that's telling them you're not home and it's a good time to break into your house and steal stuff.
Yeah, I guess it would be especially bad if you blast out there that you're on vacation without your children.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we talk about photographs? And you know, a lot of people don't realize that when you take a picture with any digital camera, there is meta information that's saved on that picture that people can use to find your location. Can you talk about whether or not that stuff is removable, and if so, how?
It's definitely removable. You can. The first step would be is to go through your cameras or your smartphones into the settings and turn off the GPS function for your photos.
Okay. And what about afterwards? Are there things that you can use to get that information off after the photo's taken?
Oh, definitely. There's programs on the internet. There's lots of different ones, and if you just do a quick Google search, remove photo metadata or EXIF data, then there'll be lots of hits that'll show you how to do that.
And it's called XF data?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Before, we talked briefly about some of the social media platforms that the kids are using nowadays. And I want you to talk a little bit more about Kik and Text Plus and why they're so dangerous. Especially, you know, as parents, we all think we're doing a good job grabbing our teenagers' phones when they're not looking and going through and seeing what they're doing, but these applications have a get around for that, don't they?
They do. Normally, if you're going through your phone records, if your child is texting people, you can go to Verizon or AT&T and get a list of all the incoming and outgoing text and phone calls. However, if they're using one of these applications, it is going through that app, so your phone company doesn't have a record of that. So your teenager could download one of these applications, and if you don't see it, you don't notice it, or they use some other app to hide that app is on their phone, they can be communicating with people and the parent has no idea.
Unlike computers, it's very difficult to get keystrokes off of a phone, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. We also talked a little bit, oh, no, I'm sorry, we didn't talk about it, but I have a question about it. We got a question from our camera person about 4chan and Reddit. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, 4chan, Reddit, and there's another site called Tumblr are basically photo sharing websites. People can post photos up, and then once you've posted a photo, other users can comment. 4chan's probably the oldest of them. It's from I believe around 2003 was when it was created, and basically people can post these photos up, and others can see and comment on them. A lot of times there's a lot of explicit content on there, so you kind of just have to watch what websites your kids are going on and what parts of those websites they are, because they've got G and PG rated areas, and then they've got the R rated areas.
Right. All of these things were created for a good reason, and they're fun to use when they're used properly, but it seems like all of these things can be abused.
Absolutely. It's a lot like a car. It can have a lot of good uses, but I wouldn't let my 15-year-old drive to New York unsupervised.
We did receive a question on Facebook from Donna C. And I was hoping that we could answer it for her. Her question is, we've had a lot of teen suicides in a short period of time due to cyberbullying. What types of punishment can the bully expect that may make him or her think twice before using the internet as a weapon?
Well, there's a couple of different options available. First off, there is a Virginia statute involving cyberbullying, it applies to schools. It's not a criminal code. It's basically directing that all schools in Virginia are to have disciplinary procedures and policies regarding cyberbullying. So if your child's being cyberbullying, that's your first stop, is go and talk to your school. Also in Stafford County, every high school and middle school has a school resource officer. They have great conflict resolution skills, and they're a wealth of information about stuff pertaining to juveniles, and so they're also a great person to talk to.
So is there really no law on the books?
There's a couple different criminal codes, but they're much more specific than the generalized harassment or bullying. There's a code called computer harassment. What that entails is someone sending obscene or lewd or immoral or illegal suggestions or acts. So if someone's sending dirty pictures, or they are sending like sexual language, or suggesting that the person harm themselves or commit some other illegal act, that is a crime, but it's a class 1 misdemeanor in Virginia. There's also what's called harassment by identity theft, and that is posting another person's personal information, their name, primary address, date of birth, other identifying information online for the purpose of harassing them and causing them discomfort. And then you have threat to harm, which is a felony in Virginia. And threat to harm is sending a electronic or written message with a specific statement of bodily harm. I'm going to stab you, shoot you, I'm coming to kill you.
So when kids who think an innocuous comment like, I'm gonna get you, post those things on social media, there's intent there, and they can be prosecuted for that.
For the threat to harm, it has to be more specific than that. Simply a very generalized statement says, I'm going to get you, or you're going to get yours in the end. It's a little too vague. It has to basically put a specific fear or act out there.
Can you give me an example of what that would be?
A specific one would be, I'm coming to kill you. Or
I guess that's pretty specific,
or
isn't it?
if I see you outside, I'm going to run you over with my car. Something like that.
In the past, in our county, Stafford County, or in the surrounding areas, including Spotsy and Fredericksburg, have there been a lot of these bullying cases on social media?
There have been some, but since most of them don't rise to the level of threatening harm, it's usually handled by the schools.
Well, thank you, Detective Chenault, and we'll be right back in a few minutes to wrap up with Detective Chenault. We have just a couple more questions for him, and then we'll close our show. Thank you.